Hello everyone and welcome once again to Ghost Reviews. Today we're going to look at yet another clown redraw of mine, this time it being Clyde, the cutesy green hair clown boy. Also, I would like to apologize for the audio sounding a bit different than usually. I did decide to go on a week's holiday and I forgot my normal recording headset, but I still wanted to put out videos for you guys, so that is why I am here, still working hard or hardly working. Ha. No, seriously. Anyway, let's just get on with the video. So, firstly, let's look at the background. This specific clown is the third clown that I have decided to redraw, as I have already done the Jester and the Mime. The Jester, of course, being Isaac, the orange-haired creepy boy. The Mime being the I think she was the first character that I actually drew with like a mask and not like face paint. Yeah, she turned out pretty good. I really like her concept, but above all the other characters in the show, I really do like this guy even more. So, the idea for this boy to actually be seen as the mute character of the group came to me after watching Paljas, which is an Afrikaans movie about a little boy who wants to be a clown or a jester, and he wants to learn a lot of magic tricks. He has learned the magic tricks, and the entire town was just against him for some reason, and his family, and wanted to like make him change his ways or like kill him if he doesn't do that. And yeah, it was just a very bad movie that didn't allow strangers, new people, new ideas, anything. The child also went through like a super traumatic event at one point that he just fell mute and didn't speak anymore. And like the whole mute clown thing, I don't know, to me it works. And as I have mentioned in my other clown videos, I do think that it is the Ringmaster video. Yeah, anyway, every clown in the series has some underlying psychological problem. Like we have Isaac, who has this major revenge thing, and then of course we have this mute boy who probably went through some trauma. But yeah, he can speak, but ultimately, just like Ferb from Phineas and Ferb, he chooses not to. And no, I did not think of Phineas and Ferb when I was creating this boy, but I must have subconsciously pulled some kind of connection because it just works. I don't know. But he is the classic clown of the group, meaning that he can blow up balloon animals, he can juggle, he can balance on a tightrope or something, but ultimately he just ends up like dirty, full of water, full of pies, hurt. Yeah, I don't know why I did that to him, he's super cute. Oh, and by the way, canonically, he cannot smile. I just thought it was a nice little childhood trauma that I could sprinkle into his character design. You know, something that I have experienced myself. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to the picture itself. One thing that I did with both this picture and the previous one, the Isaac one, is to use some custom clown backgrounds instead of just painting them like I did with the previous ones. Because it is fun creating them and it actually looks like the clown belongs there if you draw the background itself. But some of the backgrounds and like the aesthetics and whatnot, you cannot really, if you don't have a lot of experience drawing backgrounds, you cannot really capture the same feel. The reference that I used for this specific picture, though, was based on a super creepy clown girl who had cold blue eyes and like bloody fingers, but still in like the gun position. And I didn't really want to add a lot of gore to this childish character, so I instead just added the cute little finger guns and little cat tongue because why not? I really do like him. This time I also decided to use more lines in the artwork than simply relying on like my steady hand, because last time you could actually like see that I used a paint tool and did not draw it with hand, and I really didn't want to do that again, even though his previous drawing did look amazing. Yeah, so with the especially the tie and the face paint, I decided to add the lines, even though they're not that necessary, but yeah, it's there. It's wonderful. I also absolutely adore this guy's hair. For some reason, like that whole choppy hairstyle from Mob's Psycho 100. Mob's hairstyle. It's cute. He's a little autistic boy, and I thought that this character is also autistic, or at least on the Asperger spectrum. So that's just a cute little thing that I wanted to add. Looking at this picture, I did realize that it could be like a satire work or something, because this is a clown. This is a happy character. It's supposed to bring a lot of joy, but he is showing like his finger pointing to his head and his tongue sticking out, which could symbolize that, he is making his head pop like confetti. Eventually, I think that's like picture number 2, the before and the after shot. The after we do not want to see. It's not ideal, but that's unfortunately how it turned out. And another thing about this guy is that he cannot show emotion even if he wanted to. Not even really without his face paint. He's just one of those people. Yeah, like I said, he is a bit of an autistic person. He is on the Asperger spectrum, and I did want to add even just subtle signs to show that to people without like making him a horrible person. Because remember, it's not really a set thing. You can't say this is what autistic people look like, this is what, I don't know, normal people look like. It's something that usually change, and not every person has the same level of that kind of mental disorder. So yeah, even just like little hints and tips and stuff, it makes you already feel a bit more comfortable with the character if you notice things like that. Anyway, moving on to the tips section, I would like to take this time to share with you guys one little hack that I've learned during this drawing. I didn't learn too much because I was drawing this one along with the Isaac video, so most of the tips are kind of just the same in both drawings. So tip number 1 is to use gradient shading and highlights. I know in my King video I mentioned that doing gradient shading adds a little extra depth to the characters, especially if you're just doing 2D shading. I didn't even think about doing the same thing with the highlights though, until I did realize that my drawings did look a little flat, especially this one. I don't think I really did this with a previous drawing. So the amount of total layers that I would use with a specific thing like on the hair adds up to 5, because you have at the bottom the flat colors, on top of that the 2D shading, then the gradient shading, the normal highlights, and then the gradient highlights. This also works better if you only have like one thing, yeah, like one aspect, like just the face paint on one layer, just the hair, just the jacket, just the tie, to kind of make it easier that if you layer a gradient on top of that, it only affects the one thing instead of like a bunch of things that you have to erase. So yeah, it would also help to draw an arrow, but I have mentioned this before, that you know exactly where the highlights and shading go. If you have a light source coming from one side, then of course the highlights will come from that light source, and the shading will point in the opposite direction towards the light. Highlights away, and the sun shading towards. Yeah. Anyway, that has been my speed paint on Clyde, the classic clown. And if I'm gonna be honest, he has got the best color palette of all the clowns in my series. And I would really like to see more of like a live action version of him. Well, actually, that's with all my clowns. I would like to see them in a bit more of a realistic light, see if in actuality it could look as good as it does on the paper. The only problem, of course, is his pitch black corneas of his eyes that I don't think even I would attempt. I mean, I've seen people struggle with those massive color contacts while cosplaying as Mina from My Hero Academia, and it sometimes gets stuck in there, and I do not wish that on anyone. Hey, if you guys did enjoy this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my social media links in the description box below, which you can use to see the final product of this artwork and order digital artworks, or just check out my merch. Again, thank you so much for watching this far, and remember that your support really does mean the world to me. So, until I see you guys next time, remember to keep safe and keep practicing. Bye!